Hi, this is Priyank, and today I'm going to discuss about white box testing. Before we jump in, let's discuss what the term box testing means. Box testing simply means to test our software as an abstract idea and provide it with inputs and then compare the outcome with the desired one. There are different colors of testing techniques used under box testing approach to software testing, such as black box testing, white box testing, yellow box testing, and so on, where each technique is used to test a certain paradigm in the software. But before we move ahead, pause and think about what comes to your mind when you hear the term black box. And what can you infer about black box testing based on that? Okay, so in science, computing, and engineering, a black box is a system which can be viewed in terms of its inputs and outputs without any knowledge of its internal workings, that is, its implementation is opaque. On the contrary, a white box or a glass box is a system in which all the internal workings of the system are known to the viewer. In the domain of software testing, the two most commonly used box testing techniques are black box and white box testing. Black box testing is a software testing method in which the internal structure, design, and implementation of the item being tested is not known to the tester. Testers evaluate the functionality of the software under test by creating test scenarios and cases based on the software requirements and specifications. That is, the software is tested from an end user's point of view. On the other hand, white box testing is a software testing method in which the internal structure, design, and implementation of the item being tested is known to the tester. Testers see and test the actual code. It is similar to the work of a mechanic who examines the engine to see why the car is not moving. We will learn more about white box testing in the upcoming slides. So, the term white box represents the see through box concept. It symbolizes the ability to see through the software's outer shell or box into its inner workings. Hence, it is sometimes also referred to as glass box or clear box testing. White box testing involves looking at the internal structure of the code, and when the internal working of a product is known, one can design corresponding test cases to ensure that the internal operations are performed as per the specifications and check whether all internal components have been adequately exercised or not. But what do we gain by performing white box testing? So, by performing white box testing, first, we can ensure that all the independent paths within a module have been exercised at least once. Second, we can verify if all the logical decisions are verified on their true and false values. And third, we can verify that all the loops are executed correctly at their boundaries and within their operational bounds. We will see how white box testing helps us with these verification measures in the upcoming slides. White box testing encompasses several testing types used to evaluate the usability of an application. a block of code, or a specific software package. The testing can be done at integration and unit levels of software development. One of the basic goals of white box testing is to verify the working flow of an application. It involves testing a series of predefined inputs against expected or desired outputs so that when a specific input does not result in the expected output, we know that we have encountered a bug. Today, we are going to focus mainly on the execution testing part, which encompasses the three main white box testing techniques, namely statement coverage, branch coverage, and path coverage. Statement coverage, branch coverage, and path coverage constitute a major part of white box testing technique and are used for code coverage analysis in a program or software. Code coverage analysis helps in eliminating the gaps in a test case suite. It identifies the areas of a program that are not exercised by a set of test cases, and once the gaps are identified, test cases are created to verify untested parts of the code, thereby increasing the quality of the software product. Now let's have a look at the definitions of each of these techniques and how, or rather, what they contribute to code coverage analysis. In a programming language, a statement is nothing but a line of code or instruction for the computer to understand and act accordingly. A statement becomes an executable statement when it gets compiled and converted into the object code and performs the action when the program is in running mode. Hence, statement coverage, as the name itself suggests, is a technique which validates the execution of all the statements at least once in the source code. Through statement coverage, we can identify these statements which are and are not executed. But its one limitation is that it only covers the true conditions. That is, we cannot test the false conditions. Branch in a programming language is like the if statements. An if statement has two branches, true and false. So in branch coverage, which is also called decision coverage, we validate whether each branch is executed at least once. In case of an if statement, there will be two test conditions. One to validate the true branch and other to validate the false branch. Hence, branch coverage is a testing method which, when executed, ensures that each and every branch from each decision point is executed. This sounds great because it takes a more in depth view of the source code than simple statement coverage. Path coverage tests all paths of the program. This is a comprehensive technique which ensures that all the paths of the program are traversed at least once. Path coverage is even more powerful than branch coverage and is useful for testing more complex programs. So, to summarize, white box testing is advantageous as testing done using it is more thorough as it helps us analyze the coverage of all possible code paths. But it has a few limitations too. First, exhaustive testing is difficult for large systems as it is not possible to test each and every path of the loops in the source code. And secondly, for white box testing, professional resources are required who have a good knowledge of programming languages and logic, which can lead to increased costs. And that concludes this short presentation on white box testing. Thank you.